غيرين اسمك هسه راح يجيك بلوك. اكتبوا باسماءكم. شنو هاي الاسماء المستعارة؟ يعني هسه شنو اللي اسجله؟ اسجل نونة؟ شو اسجل؟ Okay, anyways.
العفو دكتور.
Okay, today we are going to. نعم علي، شنو سؤالك؟
هاي الرواية أستاذ كم شابتر لازم ناخذ من عندها؟
22 كلها الرواية بالنسبة لهذا الكورس كلها تاخذها. بالنسبة للامتحان 22 شابتر.
لأن كم امتحان نسوي لنا دكتور؟
امتحان واحد لهذا الكورس، امتحان الثاني الكورس الثاني، وإذا لحقنا نسوي امتحان ثالث. بس هذا الكورس امتحان واحد. هو بالأحرى امتحانين راح يكونون، امتحان تحرير وامتحان شفوي.
أستاذ يعني مو شهرين هسه بكل مواد جاي ناخذ شهرين يعني؟
لا عيني، هذا الشهرين اوبشنال. وين الأستاذ؟ ماكو شهرين. اقرأ التعليمات وتعال عليه. Okay, anyways, please stop discussing about the exam and about, because we have something more important than the exam. Okay, today we are going to have chapter 24 and 25. But before that, I think we stopped at the final part of chapter 23. Exactly at page 294, right? 294.
Yes,
Just to remind you about the exact events in chapter 23. You know that Naladine and Catherine actually went to Wuthering Heights to see Linton, because Heathcliff has been informed her that he is very sick and he is dying of her love. So next morning she decided to go and to make sure that whether Heathcliff is speaking the truth or not. So they set a journey with Naladine. Catherine found Linton in a bad condition. Nobody respects him. Nobody helped him. So he was neglected, totally neglected, and also he informed him in yes, and also Linton informed Catherine that he is really dying of her separation. He blamed her that why you did not write to me, why you did not visit to me. So they found that he is really, really sick and really, really in need for help. There was also a conversation between them, and they have a heated discussion about the life of wives, the life of husbands, the life of sisters, brothers, etc. And I told you that Emily Bronte was quite successful to delineate those relations. Although she was not married, although she had no love relationship, but she is able to give us the smallest details of the family. So there was also a discussion between Catherine and Linton about their fathers, and Linton actually revealed some truths about the relationship between her mother, I mean Catherine's mother, Catherine with Heathcliff, with his father, to which Catherine is denied, and she insisted that there will be no like this relationship. Okay, let's continue reading some lines from this chapter, or from page 294. You know that Edgar Linton لينتون هيثكليف. يعني هذول اللي يدخلون قاعد يسوون لنا ارباك. احنا قلنا اتفقنا بانه 5 دقائق للطلبه اللي يريدون يدخلون. يعني انا كل ساعه اسوي ارجع للواجهه، شلون يعني؟ حسين بلغ الطلاب انه ب5 دقائق، يعني هسه صار لنا احنا 7 دقائق، وانا متاكد ورا نص ساعه هماتين يردون يدخلون. فحسين رجاء بلغ الطلبه بعد انا ما اقبل ورا ال5 دقائق، مو 5 دقائق 10 دقائق. That's it. اوكي. يعني حتى تيهت وين كنا نحكي، والله ما ادري شنو اللي كنا نحكي، هم ما اعرف.
So you have said
conversation between Linton and Catherine about their comment.
Well, I'll tell you something, said Linton. Your mother hated. Yes, thank you, Asin. Well, I'll tell you something, said Linton. Your mother hated your father. And this is the first truth revealed by Linton to Catherine. Your mother hated your father. Now then, oh, exclaimed Catherine, this is not right. And she loved mine. He tells her that she loved mine. Okay, your mother loved my father. You little liar. She accuses him. You little liar. You are a liar. I hate you now. She panted and her face grew red with passion. She becomes very nervous. She did, sang Linton, sinking into the recesses of his chair and leaning back his head to enjoy the agitation of the other disponent who stood behind. Hush, Massa Heathcliff, said Nelladine. I said, that's your father's tale, too, I suppose. This is your father's tale. It isn't. You hold your tongue, he answered. She did, Catherine, she did. He insisted, and you know that he is a sick man, and he insisted upon his point of view. Kathy, beside herself, gave a chair a violent push. She kicked his chair and caused him to fall against one arm. He was immediately seized by a suffocating cough that soon ended his prime. You know that he is very sick, and he has يعني بذاك الوقت كان اكو مرض السل منتشر, so he has something in his lungs, and so she kicked him and she pushed the chair violently, making him falling down, and sank in the severe coughing. You know severe coughing يعني يقح بصورة قوية, and this is ended the quarrel between them, or the discussion between them. Now she is feeling guilty. Catherine is feeling guilty about that, and she insisted to cure him because she feels that she is responsible for his suffering and responsible for that accident. And also he accused her that she hurt him, and he will be awake all the night after their going. The last point in this chapter will be, if you open your books on page 299, while I cried.
Yes,
You know, Nelladine, yes, Nelladine is joining Catherine to Thrashy Crossing Range, back to Thrashy Crossing Range. You know, this part of the novel focuses upon Catherine the daughter, and you know that the similarities between Catherine and her mother. So maybe we could find a difference between them maybe in the subsequent chapters, and you will see that how they differ from each other, although we have too much similarities between them. Okay, well, I cried. Well, Nelly cried. After all, we needn't trouble ourselves. She is telling Kathy that, okay, leave him. We don't need to trouble ourselves. For listen, miss and mine, I will keep my word. Look, listen, Kathy, I will keep my word. If you attempt going to Wuthering Heights again, with or without me, I shall inform Miss Ellington. If you go to Wuthering Heights, with or without me, I will inform Edgar Ellington about this. It has been, yes, I shall inform Miss Ellington, and unless he allow it, the intimacy with your cousin must not be revived. The intimacy between you and your cousin Linton must not be revived. Okay? Look to her response. Kathy's response. It has been revived. It has been revived. Must not be continued. Then I said. Nelly Dean said, must not be continued. Nelly said. We will see. We'll see. Okay. Can anybody explain this answer from Catherine? When Nelly Dean told her that if you go with or without me to Wuthering Heights, I will tell your father about you. She said that it has been revived. I mean, the relationship has been revived. To which Nelly Dean answered, must not be continued. She insisted that this relationship must be ended. So Catherine said, we will see. What does it mean? Can anybody explain these 3 lines?
May I, sir?
Okay, Miriam.
Yes, sir. I think because of Linton's condition, he was an unhealthy boy, and she was like taking care of him just like his mother.
Mm-hmm.
So she felt inside herself that she has to do. She has to looking for himself, looking for him.
Okay, thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you. What else? What else? Ala Nadam? Yes, Ala. Can with the wind, Ala. Okay. It seems that Catherine does not pay any attention for that threat. She has something in her mind, and she has an intimacy with her cousin. When she said that we will see, okay, or when she said that it has been revived, it means that she has been already put in her mind that she must love him, or maybe already they have a love affair between them. Okay, the last paragraph of this chapter reveals that a minor incident, when they came back, Nelly Dean fell sick, and she has to rest about 3 weeks in her room. Next chapter, chapter 24. In this chapter, you must focus first upon the character of Catherine and how she is different from other characters and even from her mother. Number 1. Number 2, that this chapter focuses upon the relationship between Catherine and the servant. It has a special. This chapter has a special information about the treatment of the servants. Okay, by Catherine, by little Catherine. Number 1. Number 2, we have a focus here upon education. We have a focus here upon books, libraries, pictures, etc. And those all are part of civilizations at that time, part of the improvement of life at that time. You know that the Victorian age was an age of science, and there was an invention of a printing machine, and that printing machine supplied the market with cheap books, and there was really an educational revolutions. And you will see in this chapter how people, even the servants, they are running for education, and they want to read and write and have knowledge. Okay, if we read some lines from this chapter, at the close of 3 weeks, I was able to quit my chamber and move about the house. And on the first occasion of my sitting up in the evening, I asked Catherine to read to me because my eyes were weak. We were in the library, the master having gone to bed. She consented rather unwillingly. I fancied and imagining my sort of books did not suit her. I bid her please herself in the choice of what she pursued. She selected one of her own favorites and go forward steadily about an hour. Then came frequent questions. Okay, you know that now Catherine, now she is reading for Naladine some books as a kind of what? As a kind of good relationship. Okay, not only for Nelly, but for other servants. Would you please explain a summary for this chapter? Yes, Isra Aqil.
Yes, sir. Chapter 24, where Nelly recovers, she quickly notes Kathy's suspicious behavior and soon catches Kathy sneaking into her room after a night out, after feebly trying to lie. Kathy admitted that she been going to Wuthering Heights to see Linton. In the particular, Kathy told Nelly on one trip to Wuthering Heights where Harton stopped her and provided to her that he could read the name Harton written above the house front door. Kathy thought asked him if it can read the number next to the word. It's a 1,500 when the Harton admit that he can't. She once again mocks him for his stupidity.
Okay, thank you, Isra. Hawra Shakir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In this chapter, when Nelly recovers from her sick, she already notes that Kathy is sneaking from her room at night, and she slept in another place. And when she asked her, Kathy tried to lie about her, but Nelly discovered that. Then Kathy began to tell her that she's go to Wuthering Heights in the night and to meet Linton, and already tell her that she met also Harton in Wuthering Heights when he stopped her and tell her to read the name behind the door. That was Catherine Earnshaw.
Okay, thank you so much, Hawra. Thank you so much. Now, how did she treat Hithika? How did she treat servants? How did she treat servants? I mean, how did Catherine treat servant?
You mean servant Harton or who?
Naladine. We have 3 servants here. Naladine, Michael, and Zella. First, let's start with Naladine. I just explained it.
So she was she was taking care of her when she was sick. Even when she is the servant of the house, she was reading her every day.
Okay. What does it mean? Is Zainab Hashim?
Yes, sir. That means they consider Nelidin as one of the family, from the family,
Okay.
not a servant.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe she feels towards her like she is her mother because she's raising her.
Okay. What else? Murtada?
Yes, sir.
Murtada Muhammad?
Yes, sir. She was treating them very good. That's clear when she said that Kathy read to her when she was sick. You never imagine lady reading to her servant.
Yes. Okay. You know, throughout the novel, we had seen just Mr. Earnshaw when he went to Liverpool. You remember that? He did not forget Nelidine to bring her gifts. You remember? And this is another example. Yes.
Fruits.
Yes, right. Now, Catherine has a kind heart for all people around her, even for the servants. Now she is trying to help Nelidine. She's trying to help Nelidine in her sickness, and she is breathing for her. Okay, this is actually strange in this novel. You know that relationship between the housekeeper or the servant and the masters or mistress. So this is the first example that Catherine has a good heart, maybe kinder than her mother. Her mother, Catherine, we did not see like this. You remember that when she slapped Nelidine? You remember?
Yes, sir. During the visit of Edgar Linton for her.
Good. During the visit of Linton to Catherine, she slapped her, and even she slapped Edgar at that time.
Yes.
So
also called her a villain or a evil.
Yes.
I think that.
Good. Yes. Yes. Good to remember that. So now we have a good relationship, and this is actually is a reflection of Kathy's tender heart. Maybe we can say to some extent that she also has an affection more than love towards her cousin. You know her cousin because he is sick, because he is not good. She is intended to nurse him. Okay, more than the love. Okay, so we can speak about the kind heart of Kathy. That's why maybe to some extent that Catherine will be rewarded. Rewarded at the end of the novel. Rewarded. تكافأ. It is here an important to refer to poetic justice. Poetic justice. Have you heard about this term, poetic justice?
It means moral justice?
Justice, not justice. Justice.
Yes, justice. It means العدالة الأخلاقية.
العدالة الأخلاقية. Okay. Yes. What else? Poetic justice. Yes. Poetic justice. It means that virtues or morals, good morals, will be rewarded, and evils should be, punished. Throughout a piece of literature, for example, a play, drama, novel, short story, even movies or films or then the TV series, المسلسلات أو التمثيليات أو الأفلام, there must be a poetic justice. إذا ماكو poetic justice دول الكاركترز اللي هم good people إذا ما تكافئوا، أوكي، إحنا نحس بأنه أكو نقص بالعمل. أو مثلا الشر إذا ما عوقب أيضا راح يصير بأنه أكو فد نقص. هن هذين كلهن came to us from Aristotle theory of literature. He informed us, or he laid down some rules for literature. He told us that there must be a poetic justice in any kind of literature. But, okay, or however, in modern literature, this poetic justice is not clear. يعني احنا بالوقت الحاضر الحق من الباطل شنو؟ There is no clear cut at all, and not necessarily that bad characters should be punished, and even good character should be rewarded. Okay, why? Because there is no clear line. There is no clear cut between what is good and what is bad. Okay, so from the time of Shakespeare, if you have studied, for example, Hamlet, if you have studied, for example, Dr. Faustus, from that time, the violation of that poetic justice started from that time. يعني الكاتب مو بالضرورة يعطي poetic justice. الكاتب مو بالضرورة بالنهاية العمل بأنه الجيد يكافئه والمزيان راح يعاقبه. No, the case is totally different. And nowadays, if you read some works, literary works, you will find that the writers are totally from that poetic justice, and they don't even pay attention to that poetic justice. So here, Catherine, to some extent, she will be rewarded at the end of the novel. Okay. Why? Because she has a good heart. Why? Because she is kind to all people. So must be rewarded, and you will see that she will be rewarded by Emily Bronte. Maybe she will be rewarded. We don't know exactly. Okay. Now Catherine have seen that, or suspicious that Catherine doing something that Neladine did not know. Okay, throughout her time of sickness. So one day she is questioning her, and Catherine actually confesses to Neladine about what had or what did before. She told her that I went every day, almost every day, to Wuthering Heights, and now Catherine begins to narrate what had happened throughout those days, throughout the three weeks. ليش الباوربوينت ما يشوفونه؟ شنو المشكلة؟
هسه ظهر.
Okay. Okay, if I ask you, who is the narrator? Who is the narrator in this chapter? Who is the narrator of this chapter? Yes, Zahra Haidar?
Yes, the main is Kathy or non-Kathy.
Yes, it's Kathy or non-Kathy. Good.
Catherine Linton.
Okay, now how many narrators do we have in this novel? How many narrators?
May I, sir?
Yes, Hussein. The first one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The first one.
Yes, the first one, of course, it was Mr. Lockwood.
Mr. Lockwood, thank you. Good. Yes, Saja. The next. The narrator. Neladine, good. Yes, next. Naba Adil.
Isabella, sir.
Isabella, good. Baad.
Heathcliff, narrate one day.
When you narrate.
Catherine,
And Catherine. Okay, how many narrators do we have right now? We have 5 narrators. Okay, 5. We have 5 narrators in this novel. Look to the complex narrative techniques that Emily Bronte is employing. Actually, this is her masterpiece. You know her masterpiece.
تحفة or her best work.
رائعة. Yes.
عمل فريد من نوعه.
عندنا كتاب العمل الواحد، كتاب ما أعرف شو نسميهم بالعربي، شو نسميهم؟ شعراء الواحدة؟ لا، كتاب الواحدة. ماكو واحد عربي بالعربي زين مر عليه هذا المصطلح شعراء الواحدة؟
Repeat your question, sir.
بالعربي احنا بالادب العربي صاحب العمل الواحد والماستر بيس شو نسميه؟
اعتقد we call it
المجموعة الكاملة مثلا لشاعر.
لا اكو اعتقد شعراء الواحدة او كتاب الواحدة.
صاحب التفعيلة.
اوكي يعني ما عندنا واحد بالعربي شاطر. Okay, anyways, so she has one masterpiece and you know masterpiece رائعة. She is the masterpiece of Wuthering Heights. You know Wuthering Heights is her masterpiece and she's actually revealed her greatness in this novel. عندها فقط Wuthering Heights and she is really a masterpiece. ماكو شاردة واردة ما ذكرتها هاي novel. Even the servants. Now she is putting one chapter maybe to describe the treatment of servants in this novel. Okay. Anyways, now she is narrating what had happened during 3 weeks. What had happened? As narrated by Catherine to Naladin. شنو اللي صار؟ شنو سوته كاثرين؟
Yes, sir, may I?
Yes, Hamza.
I think Kathy bribed a servant with her books to take care of selling her bunny and keep her escapist secret.
Yes, good. This is the first one, or this is the first deed that you know.
The second one.
She gave. Wait, Hamza. She gave the servant who is taking care of the horses. شنطته.
She gives him a book.
Book and pictures.
Book and pictures. Good. Look, please focus upon the books. Focus upon the books. He is a servant and he is taking care of the horses. Now he gave her. She gave him. She gave him some books. Not only books, but private books from her library. Okay. Yes. What else? What did she narrate? What did she narrate?
Yes,
what
sir.
did she narrate?
On her second visit. On her second visit, she and Linton had an argument about the best way of spending summer afternoon. Linton wanna lie.
Good.
Yes, should I complete?
Yes, okay, go on.
Linton wanted to wanna lie and healthier and dream it way, and she wanted to rock and a treetop among the birds, and wanted to lie in the asked I don't know how can I pronounce it, of peace.
Okay.
Kathy explained, I want you all to sparkle and dance in a glorious jumble. They made up and played ball until Lennon became unhappy.
Okay, good, Hamza. Thank you so much. Good. Okay, if you open your text on page 304 يعني صفحة 304. One time, however,
the last paragraph, obviously.
The last paragraph, okay, at the bottom of the page. Yeah, Hussein?
Yes, sir.
Yes, at the bottom of the page. One time, however, we were near quarreling. من هو narrator? Don't forget that Kathy is narrating what has happened. Okay, one time, however, we were near quarreling. We are Linton. He said the pleasantest manner of spending a hot July day was lying from morning till evening on a bank of heath in the middle of moors, with the bees humming dreamily about among the bloom, and the larks singing high up overhead, and the blue sky and the bright sun shining steadily and cloudlessly. That was his most perfect idea of heaven's happiness. Mine was rocking in the rustling green tree, with the west wind blowing and the bright white clouds flitting rapidly above. Look, this piece is a very, very romantic piece. Okay, this is very romantic writing. It reveals that how they were, or they are enjoying their time. If I ask you here to describe this or to give me the elements of nature here, the romantic elements used by Emily Bronte here, what did she use, or what are the natural elements here in this piece or in this paragraph? Yes. What did she mention?
She mentioned to nature.
Yes. Elements of nature. مثل إيش؟
Element of nature. When Kathy said that, she wanted everything to dance with joy and
yes. Bank of heath in the middle of moors, with the bees humming. شنو البيز humming؟ النحل يعني طنين النحل. Dreamily about among the bloom, and the larks singing. شنو الlarks؟
الصور يعني
الطيور. Yes.
جميع أصوات الطيور.
Larks singing. الطيور تغني. High up overhead. شنو؟ And the sky. And the blue sky and the bright sun shining. Okay, steadily and cloudlessly. That was his most perfect idea of heaven's happiness. Mine was rocking in the rustling green, etc., etc. Once again, this is a piece of it is a romantic piece or romantic paragraph here written by Emily Bronte. If I ask you that whether this novel is a romantic or gothic or something else, what will your answer? What will be your answer? Is it a romantic novel?
You mean all the novel, all the story of the novel?
Maybe, yes.
Yes,
it's a mix between gothic and romantic. It's a mix between gothic and romantic.
It's a mix between gothic and romantic. Sian?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's mixed between gothic, romantic, and it has many themes.
Okay. Yes. What else? Yes.
All the things that we expect, it is included in this novel.
Okay. If I ask you that whether it is we discussed characteristics of Victorian age. Okay. Can we say this is a romantic or a Victorian age? Yes, Ahmed Ali Ghali.
As my mates said before, there is a mix between two events. At the same time, it's gothic. There's a gothic element, and it is romantic. That we have seen a lot of feature represent to love of nature, love relationship, relationship between human. There's many events.
Okay, thank you. Yes. What
And
else?
also love for money and
Love for money.
class.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Hamza.
I think this novel, it's as my colleague says, it's divided into two sections: Gothic and say with me,
Romantic.
and romantic. I think here Gothic element it's more than romantic, and I can say it's a Gothic novel because the most parts of this novel it's about Gothically, we can say.
Yes, yes. What you have been said quite right. Maybe one say that it is a Gothic, and another one may say that it is a romantic, because we have many evidences here support two ideas, support two point of view. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. What else? What else did Kathy narrate?
May I, sir?
What else? Let me see other students.
May I, sir?
Yes, Ala Nabam. Yes, Ala.
Yes. She told Nelly about one of her visit to Wuthering Heights. And one of these days, she meet Herton. He stops her and tells her that he can read the name above the door.
Okay, good.
However, Kathy asks he read it, but Kathy asks him, could he read the number? He can't read it.
Good.
And when he concedes he doesn't, she again makes fun of him.
Okay, good. Good, Ala. This is a good point. In one visit, okay,
Yes.
in one visit that Herton guided her and
Yes.
led her to a place where his name is written. He told her that, okay, I can read now. He read for her, but he couldn't read the numbers, so she made fun of him. Good.
Yes.
Yes, what else?
May
What
I, sir?
else?
May I?
Okay, Naba Adil.
Yes, sir. Also, Kat mentioned in her visit in 3 days, Linton blames her for her previous trouble. So she leaves. When she returns 2 days later, she tells Linton this is her visit. This is her last visit. But no cases him trouble, and he apologized for his behavior.
Okay.
Now, Nelly listened to Kathy telling, and then immediately tells Edgar everything about she tell him. He forbidden Kathy to continue visiting Linton and his cliff in Wuthering High, but says he will write an invitation for Linton to visit it was Gross Grain.
Okay, good. Good, Nama. This is also a good point. We come to it later. Yes, what else? Okay, if you open your text on page 306, let me sit there. Minnie and I went flying home. Minnie and I. Have you seen it? Minnie and I. Have you seen it? صفحة 306.
We didn't, sir. Many and
Yes. صفحة 306.
the top or the bottom, sir.
Actually, my book is different from yours. أخاف قبلها مثلا 405. شوفوها والله. Minnie and I went flying home as light as air, and I dreamt of Wuthering Heights, and my sweet darling cousin till morning.
أستاذ السطر الرابع
فيها صفحة
306
306 السطر الرابع. Okay, good. Look, now, in one occasion, when she is coming back on her horse, okay, her horse is named Minnie. Minnie and I went flying home. Look how she is romantic. Minnie and I went flying home as light as air. يعني احنا رحنا ورجعنا للبيت مثل الهواء الخفيف. And I dreamt of Wuthering Heights. هي من السبيكر هنا كاثرين. And I dreamt of Wuthering Heights and my sweet darling cousin. I dreamt about Wuthering Heights and my sweet darling cousin till morning. What does it mean? What does this mean?
She started with love with Linton?
Yes, good. Yes, she has a love affair with Linton. Okay, and this is a romantic relationship with him. Yes, I see.
We can say that she now starting to open her emotion and love for Linton.
Yes, right. Another occasion that happened with Horton. You know now Horton is feeling jealous. Okay, يعني غار. Both of them, Horton and Linton, they are her cousin. يعني واحدة من عمتها واحدة من خالتها. And Horton now begins to feel jealous, and even he will hurt them. He will quarrel with them later on. So, in one occasion, just he wanted to prove himself able to read and write. Now, he told her, Miss Catherine, أيضا صفحة 306, Miss Catherine, I can read Yan Nat. Miss Catherine, have you seen it?
Yes, sir. On the bottom of the page.
At the bottom of the page, 306, 306. Yes. Miss Catherine, I can read. Yanna. Look to his language. Yanna. What is this? It means that I can read you now. But Emily Bronte, okay, put exactly the language of illiterate people. You know, illiterate, those people who are uneducated.
Yes, sir.
Or not educated. Okay. Now, she is putting exact words of those people. هي تقدر تغيرها، مو صح؟ لكن هي ما غيرتها. You remember at the beginning of the novel, you remember Joseph? What did he speak?
He spoke an Irish dialect.
Irish dialect, good. Irish dialect. Now she is putting. I mean, she wrote the same or exact words said by Horton because he is illiterate, because he is uneducated. What does this mean? When putting things as they are, without any modification, what does it mean?
Kind of realistic.
Realism, good, Zainab. This is a kind of realism. We did agree that Emily Bronte was a realistic novel, okay, and her novel is a novel of realism. So part of realism, she put exact words of those people. And we have seen that through language. I mean, through language of the people, we can see that, for example, from the language of Heathcliff. Language of Heathcliff is different from those people. Why? Why he is different?
Could you repeat the question, sir? Sorry.
Okay, you remember that Heathcliff's words in Linton's family. They said that he is speaking strange language. Okay, and his language, reflected reflected his character, reflected the fur, reflected the gypsiness, reflected the racism.
May I, sir?
And we may compare him with, for example, Edgar Linton. Edgar Linton is educated, and his language is different from other people. We can see that Catherine, the mother, also she has a language different from other people. Joseph has a language different from other characters or other people. Also reflect, or this language reflects his character. Here now, Hurton also, has a special language. Okay, now, and his language is also reflects his character. Okay, he guided Miss Catherine. I can read you now. Wonderful, she said. Wonderful, I exclaimed. Wonderful, Catherine exclaimed. Pray, let us hear you. Okay, let me hear you. You are growing clever. You are growing clever. Okay, you are sharper. Yes. He spelled and drawled over by syllables the name Hurton and Shaw. يعني تهجاها مو وعلى الرسم شنو قراها Hurton and Shaw. قالت له and the figures وهاي الأرقام I cannot tell thee. Yeah, I cannot tell them yet. I couldn't read them. تعدني ما تعلمتها. Oh, you dance? وهاي أنت جبتني من هناك. You dance? I said, laughing heartedly at his failure. She is laughing at him, or she is mocking him. Okay, this is also an evidence that educated people or education at that time was necessary, and people must be educated enough. As I told you that because that was an age of education, it was an age of science, it was an age of advancement. Just like for example nowadays مش عندنا الموبايل وعندنا الانترنت اللي ما يعرف الموبايل والانترنت احنا نقول هذا شنو هذا backwarded. اوكي ليش احنا قاعد نعيش بالثوره الصناعيه الثالثه ولا الرابعه؟
الثالثة ستار.
الثوره الصناعيه الثالثه. Okay, so people must know how to use mobile, cell phones, internet, etc., all those devices. Otherwise, those people who couldn't, they're illiterate. يعني أميين. Okay, so at that time, books, reading, education was very necessary. Okay, and you have seen that how many times we have to mention books, education, classes, etc. So this shows that the importance of education at the Victorian age. Now, Hurton actually is disappointed by the response of Catherine. We have still one thing at the end of this chapter. Catherine goes on to narrate to Nelladine what had happened in these 3 weeks, and Nellie now excludes that she is in love. I mean, Catherine is in love with Linton, and maybe she's supporting Heathcliff's plan. Heathcliff's plan is to marry Linton with Catherine. Now, his policy, his plan is being succeeded. Okay, يعني ايش بيها تنجح.
Sir, you mean she support his plan unconsciously because she don't know.
Yes, right. Yeah, right. And now she can approve that his plan is, fruitful. يعني قاعدة تنجح الخطة مالته. At the end of this chapter, Nelladine disclosed or told Edgar Linton about Catherine's visit and Catherine's relationship with her cousin Linton. We have 3 questions. I need you to write them down on your notebooks. First, how do you explain the role of Naladin in this novel? How do you explain the role of Naladin in this novel? I mean, was her role was positive or negative? شنو كان الدور مالته positive, negative? And you know that Naladin, she was witnessed all the events, almost all the events at the story. Do you think that her role is positive or negative? This is number 1. Number 2, do you think that Naladin is a responsible woman? Do you think that Naladin is a responsible woman? يعني هل هي على قدر المسؤولية? The third and the last question, why does Naladin decide to inform Edgar about Kathy? You know that Catherine begged her that not to tell anything to Edgar Linton, but she betrayed her. You know, betrayed, خانتها وقالت لأدغار لينتون of the whole story about Catherine. Why this time? Why this time she told him? يعني قبل ما كانت تقول له. Why this time she decided to tell him or to inform him about Catherine? Okay, try to think about these 2 questions. I will ask Zainab to tell me what is her opinion.
Yes, sir. Sir, I think when Nelly saw her to Linton care of Kathy, she remembered the mother Kathy when she was in a dilemma between Heathcliff and Edgar. So she tried to help her.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like
okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, do you have any idea?
May I, sir?
Okay, Mariam. Oh, sorry, Hawra.
Yes, sir. I think when Kathy tells Nelly that about her feeling about Linton, she tells her Edgar to protect her from Heathcliff. Because she already know that when Heathcliff know about her emotion, he will put a plan to take his revenge.
Okay.
I think that.
What else?
May I, sir?
Yes, Mariam. Yes, Mariam.
About your first question, if Nelly, her role was in a positive or a negative way, I think her role in the novel was in a positive way for both Catherine and the mother and Kathy, the daughter, because she always advised them and she guided them to right way in their relationship. So I think she has a positive role in the novel.
Okay, thank you so much. If you look to the Shanks Queen, all the suits Heathcliff's purpose. يعني كلها شنو اجت حسب Heathcliff's plan. So he keeps out of the way and lets events continue. Kathy and Linton are growing very fond of each other, and Houghton is increasingly jealous. His effort to be more civilized is symbolized in his attempt to learn to read. I think it is very clear. Kathy and Linton differ, different characters with different attitudes. You know, different characters. They have different characters and different attitudes. You know that they are, physically they are different. I mean, she is health, Catherine is health and well-being, whereas Linton is sick and he is feeble or he is pale. Okay. What about their attitudes? Their attitudes also different from each other. Each one has his point of view. each one has a philosophy in life which is different from other side, but they came together in the name of love. Okay, by this we move to chapter 5. Sorry, chapter 25. Chapter 25. And this chapter, actually, this chapter begins with the present time. When I say present time, it means that at the time of Lockwood, at the time of Naladine is narrating for Mr. Lockwood the story. Okay, this is the present time. And at the same time, we are approaching the end. We are approaching the end. Now, this time, Nelly told him that just 1 year back, يعني قبل سنة واحدة، يعني وين وصلنا؟ بدنا نوصل لوين؟ بدنا نوصل لل present time. Okay? Okay, let's read something from the chapter, the first page, chapter 25. These things happened last winter. شنو هي these things؟ شنو هن happened last winter؟ شنو هن؟
The meeting. The meeting Kathy and Linton.
Good. يعني هاي هسه اللي حكيناها بchapter 23 happened last winter, exactly 1 year. Yes, these things happened last winter, sir, said Mrs. Dean. Hardly more than a year ago. Last winter, I did not think at another 12 months and I should be amusing a stranger to the family with relating them. تقول أنا ما كنت متوقعة بأن شنو أحكي هذه اللي صار إلى stranger. Yet, who knows how long you will be a stranger. لكن من اللي يدري إيش قد أنت راح تكون stranger. Maybe you will not be stranger. You are too young. بعدك شباب. To rest always contented. Living by yourself. عندك فلوس. Living by your independent. And I some way fancy no one could see Catherine Linton and not love her. Look, she's trying to extract a response from Mr. Lockwood. قالت له maybe you will not be a stranger and you are young, you have money enough to live by yourself, and to some extent that nobody can see Kathy and not loving her. You smile, but why do you look so lively and interested? لا أنت ليش you have an interest when I talked about her. ليش أنا لما نحكي لك عنها you feel interest. And why have you asked me? Yes, مرة طلبت من عندي to hang her picture over your fireplace. And why? ليش أنت علقت صورتها على fireplace? It seems that you have an interest on her, and maybe she developed or you developed a kind of relationship with her, because nobody can see her without loving her. Okay? ايش قال لها? Stop, my good friend. Stop, my good friend. Lockwood cried. It may be very possible that I should love her. It would be very natural to love her, but would she love me? يعني أنا دا أحبها هي هم تحبني. I doubt it too much to venture by running into temptation. And my home is not here. أنا بيتي مو هنا. I am of the busy world. Busy world معناه شنو؟ City. يعني أنا رجال من المدينة from busy world. And to its arms I must return. لكن لازم أني أرجع. Okay, tell her, go on, my friend. Okay, was Catherine obedient to her father's commands? You know that when he heard, Mr. Linton, the father, when he heard that she has a love affair and she used to visit Wuthering Heights, he prevented her. And he asked her not to go there. And he also asked her not to write or do something to have a relationship with that boy or with her cousin. Yes, if I ask you to give me a summary for this chapter.
May I say? Excuse me.
May I, sir?
May I, sir?
May I?
Yes, حسنين شاسب يس حتنين.
Yes, sir. Nearly stopped in her narrative to tell Lockwood at the event. She is now describing took place a little over a year ago during the previous winter, and she noticed how it is to be telling the story to the servant. Inspired, she wonders Lockwood and might fall in love with Kathy. Lockwood agreed that he just might in love with Kathy, but he adds she unlikely to return feeling, and he will have to leave because Wuthering Heights not his home, and after that asked Neely to continue in the story as Neil Dean she does, and
okay, thank you, Hassanin. Thank you. Yes, Mariam Abdul Abbad.
Yes, sir. The summary, chapter 25. Nelly bolsters in her narrative to tell Lockwood that the event she is now describing took place literally over a year ago during the previous winter. She noticed how it is to be telling the story to strangers. That she wonders if Lockwood might fall in love with Kathy, and really has to be stronger. Lockwood agreed that he just might fall in love with Kathy, but added that she is unlikely to return. She feeling and that. Anyway, he will have to live soon because they are born.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mariam. Actually, Mr. Linton, when he heard about this story, he had a big dilemma. Okay, in one hand, that he loves his daughter, and he wants everything good for her. Okay, but in this chapter, you will see that he will change his mood. He will change his plan, or he will change his mind. Look, now when Edgar Linton asked Nelly Dean about the health of Linton, okay, I wish my nephew would write Alan or call. He decided to write for him and to meet his daughter, not at Wuthering Heights, but at Thrushcross Grange. Okay? I wish my nephew would write Alan or call. Tell me sincerely, what do you think of him? Is he changed for the better, or is there a prospect of improvement as he grows?
She asked about Heathcliff here?
No. He asked her about Linton, about the health of Linton.
Yes, sir.
Yes, he wants to make sure that is he as good. Yes, Hassan?
Yes, sir. Nelly, when tells Edgar that Linton is ill health, so Edgar was afraid that
about Kathy's happiness when she after married Linton. Then he concedes that if marrying Linton would make Kathy happy, so he would be he will accept this marriage, even that Mr. Heathcliff will get what he wants, what he plans.
Good. He ended, or he will end the fight between them. Yes, thank you. Input. Hamza Mahsin, do you have something to say?
No, sir.
Okay, let's continue reading. Okay, he is very delicate, sir. He is very delicate. Delicate معنى شنو؟
فرح أو مبتهج.
Yes. And scarcely likely to reach manhood. يعني نقول احتمال ما يوصل للمانهود. But this I can't say. He does not resemble his father. لكن هو ما يشبه his father. And if Miss Catherine had the misfortune to marry him, he would not be beyond her control, unless she were extremely and foolishly indulgent. However, Master, you will have plenty of time to get acquainted with him and see whether he would suit her. It wants 4 years and more to his being of age. يعني قالت له يريد له 4 سنوات يلا يصير being of age. Yes. Edgar Linton, look, Edgar sighed. شنو sighed؟
تنهد أو تحسر.
تنهد, and walking to the window, looking out towards Gemerton Creek. It was misty afternoon, but the February sun shone dimly, and we could just distinguish the 2 fire trees in the yard and the scattered gravestones. Look, it was misty afternoon, but the February sun shone dimly. يعني شبيها الشمس. قاتمة. Look to the weather. How does the weather participate in the action? لما سألها عن صحة لينتون قالت له احتمال ما يطول وهو ضعيف البنية. اوكي شنو نهد على الويندو. Okay, and open the window and look out to misty afternoon and the sun shone dimly. يعني مو واضحة بها ظلام. And we just distinguish the the 2 fire trees. يعني نقول احنا من ظلام ما نشوف. It means what?
We can consider it foreshadowing for the happen.
Good foreshadowing. Good
yeah,
foreshadowing for.
Catherine will not be happy with him.
Good. The Catherine will not be happy, and this is the future of Catherine. The future of Catherine will be not happy, just like the dim sun. Okay, يعني شمس خافتة and bad weather. Not bad weather, but gloomy weather. Look to the weather. Look to the surroundings. How do they participate in producing suspense, in producing or participating in the events. بس عندنا امتحان بعد 20 دقيقة. Okay, we will stop at this point. إذا عندكم امتحان بس هو بعد ربع ساعة. Okay, let's read this paragraph. Let's read it حتى تساوون ويا الصباحي. I have prayed often. Now the speaker is Edgar Linton. He is prayed often. He have soliloquized for the approach of what is coming, and now I begin to shrink and fear it. I thought the memory of the hour I came down, that gleam, bridegroom would be less sweet than the anticipation that I was soon, in a few months or possibly weeks, to be carried up and lied in its lonely hollow. Balin, I have been very happy with my little Kathy. I was very happy with my little Kathy. Through winter, nights, and summer days, she was a living hope of my side, but I have been as happy musing by myself among those stones under that old church, lying through the long June evenings and on the green around of her mother's grave, and wishing, yearning for the time when I might lie beneath it. يقول أنا قسمت على قبر أمها لأنه شنو happiness for her. What can I do for Kathy? What can I do for Kathy? How must I quit her? I don't care one moment for Linton being Heathcliff's son. يقول أنا بعد ما أهتم بأنه لينتون هو ابن Heathcliff, nor for his taking her from me. حتى ما أمانع بأنه يأخذها من عندي. If he could cancel her for my loss. إذا كان شنو يعني يحميها ورا ما أموت. I'd not care that Heathcliff gained his aunt or his aunts. أنا بعد ما أهتم إذا شنو Heathcliff إيش بيه ينتصر. And primed in robbing me of my last blessing. وأنا ما أمانع بأنه شنو يسلبني من سعادتي الأخيرة اللي هي بنتي. But should Linton be unworthy, only a feeble tool to his father? I cannot abandon her to him. Okay, and this is, let's stop here. Please try to focus upon this paragraph, and this paragraph is very important because he is ending the fight between, he is surrender. Surrender معناه شنو؟ يستسلم. Okay, thank you so much for your listening, and next time we'll have also 2 chapters. Okay, have a good time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
بعدك موجود حسين.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Please just inform the students who couldn't join this session. عندنا session ويا الصباح الساعة 9. إذا يردون وإذا ما لحقوا خلي يجون الساعة 9. أنا راح أرسل الرابط بالجروب. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you. Inshallah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.